Finally had time to do some boilies, so here we go. Tons of requests for this. I'm going to be working on some boilie videos over the next few videos. This one's my more standard mix. I'm using CC more ingredients. Then also you can get some store-bought ones as well. Just like cornmeal, soy flour, stuff like that. There'll be some better additives in here to make it more attractive to the fish. And this will probably make about 15-16 pounds of boilies, somewhere in that neighborhood. I got my scale here. The reason I have my laptop here, you're probably wondering why I have a laptop there, is because I have a USB connection there. So let's get started. Easy to do, and shouldn't take too long. Okay, first order of business, we're going to do about 41 eggs. Sometimes you have to add one more, but we'll go from here. I do shell and all. Usually have to break them some, because if you just start blending it, it's not going to reach all the eggs to the top. Put that on, blend it up. Okay, we're going to go through our eggs, and then I'm going to put it into the bowl here that I have. Let's see that. And once they're blended, okay, we're just going to keep blending up our eggs, putting them in big bowl. Remember, always do the liquids first, and then keep finishing this. Now I'll put the other ingredients in. Okay, after you're done blending, make sure you get all the shells out of the bottom. Just get a spatula and just scrape all that in. I like using the shells because it adds a crunch factor to the bait. I think they really like that. It kind of mimics eating a crayfish, or even a shell on the bottom. Okay, got all that out. I also forgot to mention I'm using large eggs, just so you know. Okay, time to get our additives. Okay, I got my recipe list here. We're going to start adding the wet ingredients. So what we're going to do, I'm going to bring my pot up to here, make it a little bit easier. Okay, first thing we're going to do is Feed Stim XP from CC More. I'm going to be putting in 60 ml of that, which is 4 tablespoons. This is used for a feeding stimulant. Okay, got that in. And again, once I add all the ingredients, I will mix this afterwards. Okay, the next thing is 90 ml of tiger nut extract from CC More. This is more of a sweeter bait. I'm trying to go for like a nutty mix with this. That's why I'm doing that. So 90 ml is 6 tablespoons. $15, $30, $45, $60, $75, and 90. I'll just let the rest of that drip off there. Again, I'll show the full recipe list after I'm done with everything. Okay, put the lid back on that. Okay, next thing is hemp oil. I'm going to be doing 30 mLs of this. Again, this is CC Moore hemp oil. This has always given me like a nice, little bit of oil helps to, seems like the bait rolls easier. Okay, let that drip off. Okay, also we need a, let's see the Talin here. We're going to be using 5 mLs of the Talin. CC Moore Talin. This is a sweetener, natural sweetener. I gotta shake this up first. Always best to shake it just to make sure nothing's settled to the bottom. Okay, 1 teaspoon. Actually, I'm sorry. Yeah, 5 mLs, 1 teaspoon. Okay. Put the cap on that. Okay, and that's it right now. I will find my spoon here. I basically just want to mix all this together real good. Oh yeah, I almost forgot. Also, I add in a little honey flavor. I just do 5 mLs. This is just the Ultra Essence honey. Okay, I almost forgot that one. Okay, just mix this up real good. I'm not going to bore you with this, but just make sure everything is really thoroughly mixed. That way you have even flavors throughout your bait. Okay, start adding our dry ingredients into a bucket here, and then we'll mix that real good. First thing we're going to add in, I grind my own bird seed. I have a grinder. You can use a hand grinder, or if you have an electric one. This is going to be 2 pounds. Go ahead and put that in. I already measured out my other stuff. Doing 2 pounds of cornmeal, coarse ground cornmeal. 2 pounds of semolina. Again, I already had these measured out. Did that beforehand to save a little time. And 2 pounds of soy flour. Okay, make sure all that is in there. Okay. Okay, I have my scale. I already have it evened out here for the other ingredients. Next one we're going to do is the ground tiger nut flour from CC Moore. For this one here, I'm going to be doing 1 1/4 pounds. Okay, weighed that out. 1 1/4 of tiger nut flour. Next thing we're going to do is roasted peanut meal from CC Moore. We're going to do 3/4 of a pound of that. So 12 ounces. Feel a little too much. Alright, 12 ounces right in the nose. Okay, put that in. Okay, and finally we're going to be using the more Meggablend Sweet. Started experimenting with this last year and I already liked it. And we're doing a 1.5 pounds of that. So 1 pound 8 ounces. A little bit more. Okay. Okay, and throw that in here. Okay, it's always best to make a recipe list. That way later on you'll know exactly what you put in, how it worked, if you had to change it a little bit. So I just want to double check everything. Looks like we got everything here. And I'm going to mix all this up. And then we'll start to add it to our wet ingredients. As you can see, I got my bucket here. Basically, all you want to do is just mix this in really good so all lumps are broken, everything is blended thoroughly. This usually takes about 10 minutes. Use a spoon that has holes in it, that way it goes through easier. A lot of people will put it into a bag, but I found for like these bigger mixes, it's just a little bit easier to do it by hand because shaking around 10 pounds isn't the easiest. So I just go like this, keep going around in circles until everything's mixed thoroughly. Again, make sure any lumps are broken, and then we'll come back in about 10 minutes as soon as I'm done, and then we'll start adding this into our wet ingredient. Okay, all we're going to do now is to start to add our mix in. Just add some, start mixing, keep adding more as you go. It's going to be kind of dusty. Take a spoon. Slowly start to mix that in to incorporate everything. I'll grab a little container here. Let's keep add the base in. Again, we have a lot of liquid in there, so it's going to take a while till we get to the point where we want to be. I'll mix it with a spoon until I can't do it any farther, then I'll use my hands. You can use a hand mixer if you want, or actually for like a drywall, stuff like that. But I just use my hands all the time. I think it's easier that way. See, it's stiffening up a little bit, but not even close to being where we want it to be. Smells really good. Also, once you're done with your mix, if you find out it's not as stiff as you'd like it, add some Semolina. It's a nice hardening agent. That way if you want a really stiff mix, that'll work better. Let's keep going at it. Once I'm mixed up, then we'll come back. Like I said, once you get to a certain part of the mix, you just get your hands in here and start doing like that. Really knead it all together. This will be like another 5 minutes before it all starts to incorporate. Even though it looks a little dry now, once it's all done, it's going to be perfect. If you have to, we'll add one more egg, but at this point I don't think we're going to have to. And just keep mixing by hand. Like I said, it'll be about 5 or 10 minutes, maybe more. You'll know when it's ready. Okay, once you get to the point where you think your mix is going the way you want it to, just bring it out onto a rolling table. Not a rolling table, a cutting board. Just kind of work it a little bit. Make sure everything's really good to go. Just kind of like you're kneading bread, basically. I had to add 2 more eggs to the mix. Didn't seem like it was binding the way I wanted it to. The 2 eggs sorted that out. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and put these into the refrigerator. I'm going to make a couple more balls and let it rest for about an hour. It'll have time for all the liquid to absorb into the dry. Even though it's mixed right now, it's still good to let it rest for about an hour. And then we'll come back and get some boilies going. Alright, we're all bagged up. I weighed everything out. It came out to about 17 pounds. I'm just going to put a little bit tiger nut extract over top of these. This is going to keep them moist, because you don't want them drying out, even though you have them in a bag. Don't need a ton, it's going to absorb into it. And then just give them a shake around once you're all done there. I'm going to put these in the fridge, and then I'll be back in about an hour to roll these out. Okay, welcome back. As you can see, I started cutting my boilie mixes up here. I had the big balls of the dough. Started cutting them in the cubes. I'm going to boil some cubes. Then over here you can see that I started to hand roll, just some really large ones like 24, 26 mil. I'm actually going to go for some real big fish this year. And what I noticed is if I chum out a little bit for a couple days, it seems like the big fish, they push out the smaller ones, like the more dominant, larger fish. All I'm doing here, I'll cut them in the cubes, and I'll just go around a few times with my hands just to seal them off. That way when they boil, they don't crack. And like I said, I am putting some cubes in too, just to mix up the different shapes so there's nothing that they can get used to out in the water. So I'll just do that a few times and then toss it in my bin there, and then I'm going to boil them. Keep in mind, if you do larger ones, you have to boil them longer. This has worked really good for me to get a few big fish. And the one year I did this, I caught 2 back-to-back upper 30-pound fish. So I'm going to try this again this year. And this is just one thing to do, if you're making 17 pounds. Or you can just put the balls in the fridge, just pull them out one by one and roll them as you need to. Or freeze them. But this right here, when you roll it a few times, see how that wants to crack a little bit? That's okay when you're chumming them out, but for a hook bait you just want to make sure you make the nicest one possible. I'll make a separate bag at the end here for my hook baits. So I'm going to get back to this and I'll boil them off shortly. Okay, I just emptied my first batch of boilies there. You see they're cooling off, then I'm going to put them on the air dry racks. And we're going to put some more in here. I grab my bin here. And I'll start loading these in. Always be careful not to scald yourself here. Usually I just take this, just drop them in like that. Just keep setting them in really easy. And then we'll come back. These ones take longer because they're so big. And then I'll show you the final product when it's all said and done here. Okay, I just finished up cooking all the bait. Mission complete. Got my air dry tables here. I got 2 of them, which you can see in the other video how to make them. Got 17 plus pounds of boilies here. Probably a little bit more once the liquid soaked into it. These will dry for about 24 hours now. I've got my little live system, kind of like a dumbbell I made. Didn't have the right size nozzles, so they came out like a dumbbell. Those are about 18 to 20 mil. Got my huge ones here. They're about 24, 26, 30 mil. Have a couple smaller ones I made for hook baits. Those are mixed in. I'll pull those out and probably glug them later. But like I said, these will rest for about 24 hours. I'll bag them up with a liquid and then also freeze some too. And I'll chum a bunch of these out probably when I'm going after some of my larger fish. It seems like when I put out the larger baits, like I said, the big fish hone in on them. Not that they're lazy or anything, but they're looking for the easiest meal to get that's going to give them the most. So, we'll try this out, and I'm sure you'll see a session video once the ice finally thaws out. Right now I still have 6 inches of ice on the ground. We're in March right now, 2014, and just about to get started with the season here. I'm pretty pumped up, but I'm dying to get out. It seems like this winter dragged on and dragged on. So got a bunch of baits ready, and I'll be bringing you some more boilie videos also. Different types, just different ways to make different boilies, special recipes and whatnot. If you want to see anything, just let me know. Today's video is just a simple one. If you don't want to make 17 pounds, just divide by 4 and you can make a smaller batch as well. Thanks for watching as always, and I appreciate your support.